Rings. Science broadcast. This is the Anunnaki. Set, the Egyptian god of war. I think that's right. And Sirian canine words. Let's see where that goes. Get a haircut eventually. Yeah, I'll just do the old channelings. I gotta get up early tomorrow, so yeah, I gotta get up early the next day too. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, turn into a psychotic one of these days. The way things are going. So I'm totally coming in private sessions. Shop here. Let's see, on the 15th, I think. So yeah, here we're going to a new month. Same situation here. Webinar tomorrow. What is this? Social network. Rabbit. Behind the scenes and dating site. It's been a long day. So okay. Anunnaki, I'm not sure where this is going to go, but we'll just see where we get to. All right, let's see, here we go. Greetings, we are Anunnaki consciousness. Many of your colors come from our culture. Blue, greens, and yellows of our style. Of course, we're not going to go into indigo, comes from us. Of course, other beings will probably say the same thing. But even indigo has its own type of shade of color. With the Egyptian energies, well, with the color gold, notice how your sands of your deserts are golden color. You know, the sands of gold, basically. You see, that was done on purpose. Well, due to hide what is beneath, there is, yes, they call it a golden chariot behind, hidden beneath all realms. And some places, even your deserts in your United States, aren't they hiding a great deal? So finding gold on different levels, just you have to look at it's on how you look at it. Because your deserts of the United States, as you know, are similar to the Egyptians, because even the Egyptians had a lot of underground facilities themselves. But they weren't doing the same. Well, in some ways they were doing much of the same. Keeping much from your public that is not part of your history. Doesn't mean that'll be eventually unraveled. There's a great deal of pain that goes into it. Basically, for truths to come out can be very difficult. They're such rooted within your souls here. It's hard for this knowledge to come through. Well, it made timelines to be changed. Humans are not going to think the same anymore. And there's not just Egypt. Of course, you have many places. Of course, your Amazon has a great deal. Not necessarily underground. A lot of that's above ground, but hidden in plain sight, of course. So there are many Anunnaki ships that are here, but they don't show themselves. We are part of rejuvenation of the body. We also teach you how to refurbish your body to keep you, at a older age if you wish to. But that's not necessarily what we're here for. But as humanity evolves, you'll get an intuition of how to do this on your own. I mean, that's much of your technology here was intuition. Someone just felt like doing something, trying something new. And with longevity, that will occur also. In due time. It's happening now, of course. Much of it's happened in China. Well, because China is locked down, so it can do many things that the West is not programmed to do. Of course, there's a lot of suppression going on, but China does get away with a lot as for soul growth. not necessarily of the negative. It just it's so suppressed, you don't always see the progress that's being done there. So they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with what they're picking up on, the alien connections that they're making that they don't make public. They have their own version of Area 51, maybe not exactly the same as what you have, but they do have some sort of alien technologies. And of course, they misuse it all the time, of course. Eventually, that'll be made known. But of course, like all things, will stay as conspiracy theory for now. Well, as you are evolving, you will be able to detect these places eventually. Like go out into the desert and just feel the vibrations of what's hidden there, especially in the Sahara. Yes, the Sahara is much of a city there and much more. Even the Fountain of Youth is there. Once again, longevity. So they wonder what aliens are doing, where they're continue. Many are just really to prolong their society. How long they, especially in a fourth dimension environment, as they have learned what your world has gone through and avoided a lot of the lessons here. But of course, some worlds avoid lessons and they just bring it to your planet. We just learn it here instead of our world. Our world stays safe and kind and pure. Your world stays a war zone, at least for now. So as humans are allowing more of the extraterrestrial knowledge to be known, uh, basically through conversation. You don't have to know everything, but just allow the conversation, allow your minds to open. Then your aliens will become part of your society. Many of you are already making these connections. You find certain places in the world where there are sightings being done. Yes, there might be sightings, but is there a true connection being done there? Yes, maybe in the astral, in the sleep state, but there's actually an alien being actually visiting you, literally showing themselves, but for you to have a conversation with them. That has not occurred just yet, not on the scale as it could be. Basically, where alien sightings, where it becomes normal, where you actually talk to the beings. Yes, you can channel their vibrations all day long. That's not good enough for many, but you are. The Earth is eventually going to leave much of its tests that's or overcome its learned from its lessons, so it can go forward. Well, so we can relax, but not relax too much, because they're not going to be able to forget its past too quickly. Not at all. You're not going to forget this too fast. There's too much of a history. Of course, some of you will just concentrate on the future and really just let the past evaporate. It's like, yes, that was back then. Look at us now. Where can we go in the future where some of us turn into bird beings and you just allow yourself to evolve into another species of human? How does that work? I mean, that is a whole nother side of your growth. Like when your head can get larger, elongated head again. Some can have that capability. Of course, your vibration here has to be much different. Yeah, you have to be. So you'll be at a time of where you can experiment with yourselves. Now you're doing it now through tattoos, through divorce court. It seems some do find they need that for their growth, but and that's I guess some of their legal systems are grounding for some. But eventually you're going to graduate from much of these lessons here. Well, yes, we don't know any warriors anymore. Of course, you're not quite there yet. Well, you'll be able to talk to each other without fear, but that's some time in your future. Doesn't mean warriors will really go away because there's always going to be someone that'll be connected to some kind of laws, but you're not going to have this system of distance. Well, you're going to have some kind of laws. All worlds have some kind, but it's just a more kinder environment, a more kinder future. That's what you're going into. Greetings, I am Set. Greetings, your place of living. There was a time, yes, where humans were seen as, yes, a outlaw or wrong for the world. Did not belong here. Even humans themselves felt the same way, especially when your freedoms are being taken away. You're no longer, because think about your ancient times when first you were free and now you're enslaved. So you wonder where amnesia comes from. Is when your powers, your freedom are taken away, you begin to forget. When suppression is brought in, it's like first I can pick flowers and go meet this person and feel free and just do whatever I want, and then all that's taken away. There is some Anunnaki beings that are involved with that, of course. Basically, because the humans were not exact. Well, it was to teach the other humans that were having difficulties knowing themselves. Some were meaning that everyone needed to join this collective. Of course, there are still many that are free that can pretty much do whatever they want, but those are fewer and fewer. It's like there's many humans here that want to experience this human physical journey, and many of you agreed to it. Didn't have to. It could still be actually a small percentage that wants to be in the third dimension. The rest of you are more in fourth dimension. But that it wouldn't, the world wouldn't learn as well. So you have places, even in Africa, that are higher frequency. Tibet is kind of one of those places. There are others where you go and rejuvenate your vibration. It's just not, a lot of them are secluded sacred sites. So those are the portals. Of course, there's many more portals in your past where you can just high vibration all day long. It's like a spiritual bath. And many of you probably remember that, especially those of you connected to Lemuria, the whirlpool. But you can start a whirlpool in the water, in the ocean, kind of like a tornado in the sea, but it goes under. It just portal vibrations, which is it's portal to, well, I won't call it technology, but just beings here that are higher frequency. We're opening up dimensions all the time. And it caused a lot of difficulties for you. So that's how beings came into your world, to cause difficulties at the same time. Well, when they got here, it's like, well, what's this place? Maybe I can tango with some of these people. And of course, eventually that lowered the frequencies even more for some, not all, but quite a few. And so it made this place more complicated over time. So the energies got lower and lower and lower. It's not something that happened at once, but there was in the beginning, a small group. Well, it was still quite large. We don't have a number at this time. But just began a spiral of lowering the frequencies all across the world. But you are now setting the fire within the Earth's energy to turn things around. And that is, by speaking your mind, your word, your being, who you are, and just not being afraid of it. Of course, you don't have to tell the world what you think. Well, you just think it. You just think it, really. You don't have to tell the world because the world doesn't want to hear it anyway. And of course, they'll bite your head off. Same with religion, but there's different types of religion here. There's your popular religion, but also the religious belief systems. Meaning that some have beliefs, religious belief systems that aliens don't exist. And they're not even realizing they're part of that religious thought pattern. Because they do it religiously and not even aware of it. Well, it has a lot to do with our common beings that not want to just see what was behind the curtain. Well, they wanted to learn more from humans. Of course, some beings wanted to wipe out the human or turn the human into a weaponized being, control it. And that's been happening here. Anytime you hear about AI trying to control society, it seems some humans are being tuned to bring that vibration in. Even some of your cryptocurrency, some of that is like to turn all currencies digital so you can control your reality from an AI perspective. So this is why it hasn't fully occurred. We don't believe it will, at least from our perspective. It'll still have other means. The paper money is more like a grounding energy. Doesn't make it perfect, but it does keep you in the physical, because the last thing you need is an alien artificial intelligence invasion, which is already happening to a small extent. Well, you can say anything with a little light connected to it is kind of controlling your society. Not all of them are negative though, but especially toys for children that are kind of electronic can be kind of troublesome. Another programming element there, but we're not going to go into details of that. Of course, in the Babylonian age, children were raised like adults, and even more than that. Just not that they knew everything that adults did, like adult situations. They weren't fully aware of that, but they're aware of their magic. They're allowed to keep themselves open in their magical ways until they got invaded. Some of that was Egyptian to shut it down, to take the magicians, take the most powerful ones and wipe out the rest of them. To use the most powerful magicians to put a spell on your society. So it is very Babylonian here, just in secret. Of course, Babylon was made to be erased and forgotten, but the magicians still exist, of course, against their will. Well, they is taken well care of, but there's actually a society of magicians that are hidden from society through some of your what do you call it, your secret societies. They run them usually. Magicians usually run all secret societies. Even I try to say that, I get caught. Well, a lot of your secret societies, yeah, magic. Even Egypt has a lot of magic connected to it, doesn't it? So all your top wizards and all of that found in Egypt, and to keep it all secrets, and to eventually shut down Egypt altogether. But the mysteries are going to be awakened over time. Even some of your secret societies, some of you tap into those vibrations. Of course, there's government agencies, but what runs your government agencies? It is the secret realms that are here. Over time, those that are prepared to heal those energies. Yes, there are trickster energies, of course. Kind of like a game around yourself, try to weaponize you, especially when you're getting close to something and all of a sudden you want to just go crazy and you wonder why. But not always, yeah, and there's a way how, yes, thoughts are removed, yes. Well, those that are running your reality, it's like a search engine, you can say, of like certain thoughts are removed for obvious reasons. They don't want you to know how things are done here. Of course, that's not part of your daily conversation now, is it? Some are afraid of magic. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. If you overcome your fears, if you're afraid of it, yes, you're already under the spell of some kind of form. There's spells within everything, but the idea is to counter. But you're not always meant to. Well, if you unlock a spell, a certain type, a wizard being can appear right in front of you. Now, if they're happy or not about it's another story. It's like you summon them. And they're not always aware of what you're up to. Greetings. We are the Canine consciousness from Sirius. Canine wars. Oh, well, feline or canine. Well, canines and felines put against each other. Yes, might as well put that one out there. But a lot of it was done against their will. Genetic engineering. Of course, your cat was was created by a creator, God, and the humanoid cat. Just nobody understood where it came from, but who can take a cat being and weaponize it or control it to their liking? which has been happening. All the same thing is happening with the human. The same thing is happening to you. What's happening to the human here is buy stuff, as you know. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying stuff, especially when you need to eat and survive. But there's other just being materialistic where you forget who you are. And that's the idea. Of course, survival is like, we do not want you to know who you are. You are a consumer. Yes, most of your work day is going to be with work. You have a few hours to yourself. Good luck with that. And you're always worried about the future. For a canine, we're switching around now. For canine beings, that's every new species, similar cats, dogs, humans, humanoid dog, canines. We have been weaponized. We have been attacked, taken over. When we're naive, when we're new, we don't know who we are. Of course, there's beings from other universes that are canine beings that warned us to get our act together. Of course, as canine beings, are like something out of your 1950s. It's like, what are you talking about? We know what we're doing. Until we get invaded. And then all of a sudden we're part of an army. Like, what's up with this? And all of a sudden we can't think clearly. And all of a sudden our brothers and sisters are weaponized beings. Now, not all canines are like that, but some are. Some of you remember these things. It is not the easiest to remember. Well, because it does go into Egypt eventually. Well, because there are canine worlds where Egyptian energies are everywhere in Sirius. Where a lot of it is advanced, yes, dog people. Similar to what you see in the hieroglyphs. And just now, who are the ones that are running that world? Are normally the ones that took it over. Yes, and they do mean they are, as you say, it's Sirius. Some of them that are been weaponized, a lot of it's done through genetics once again. Well, they want to make a better society. Some just take a bunch of idiot dogs or people, we'll just call them dogs for right now, and help them grow up. We have a world here. We're going to help you grow up. Yes, we might be ruthless to you to a certain extent, but also we want you to find yourselves instead of just laying around and doing nothing all day. Which is a lot of fun. A lot of beings do that. You'll see that on your world quite a bit. So beings that, canine beings, that see other worlds of canine that have a lot of potential, but just squandering it left and right. Similar to like what you would have as a Neanderthal society on your world. And there was a lot of messing around with that. We're not going into that. Of course, a lot's been hidden on that, but that's not important. Well, the reason we bring up the canine energies is you can have canine worlds that are against each other. One wants to just help society grow up. Yes, they might be a little bit rough, some of their beings. But overall, it's like a functioning society. And there are others like, why did you do that? People should be free and all that. And society is kind of free. And then you have your little skirmish between each other. But then the human is slowly being developed as what you are. Where you can, a canine being can disguise himself as a human. And a human can be like first introduced to a canine world. Like you can have one human on an entire canine planet and just, that'd be a strange one for some of you. Some of you have actually experienced that. Well, some of you are dog lovers, some of you can't stand them. Where you're the only human on that planet. Well, it just says canine energies. The reason why we are here is because we have been genetically altered, and you see it on your planet right in front of you. And humans are being genetically altered right in front of you. Just look the other way. It's not part of your daily conversations. Of course, that's why you have sports to keep your mind off of it. Distractions. Yeah, it's very difficult to heal. Basically, if you finding yourself really what matters most, what is important, and you see the wrongs of the earth, but it doesn't mean you have to go save the planet. Basically, yes, save yourself. Because you're saving yourself, that vibration goes out. If you're uncertain, you want to save everybody, where do you get with that? You get a sinking ship instead. Yeah, you just work on your own energy, your own self, what you believe in, whatever that might be, because your beliefs are multidimensional also. It's difficult for, because many of you come from other universes. Some of you skipped a lot of experiences here in this universe. And that's why some of you are drug addicts. We're used to that higher frequency energy. Now, some of you come from other worlds, you're looking for a higher frequency energy too. But there are a lot of universes that are higher frequency. You're just there, you breathe the air. You can be out in space and get high. But your world's obviously this space is a lot different. Of course, you're living in a third dimensional environment. There's no reason why you can't go out in space and get high just by breathing it in. Yes, you don't have that here. Well, maybe one day you will. And also at the same time, your space, the darkness of space, the blackness of space will shift also, where it become a more higher frequency energy, where you go out in space and it's pink, or blue or yellow, where it's just not a little bit less dark. It's dark because it's like putting with curtains around your planet, you can say, so you can't see what's going on, keep you sheltered, because you're just seeing it as dark through your perception. Clearing that is a lot more vibrant and more alive, just like your nature. It's just difficult to see. So genetically altered energies that are here. It's just not seen, focused, understood. So canine wars. Or yes, there are worlds where some of us take lazy canines and help them discover their talents. Others just want to lay around and do nothing all day, which is fine. But that's where we have our little differences. Well, because some of us want to build societies, go forward, just whatever it might be, but also to better the soul. Others feel like just laying around meditating, as you do, you're just being. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but that's not always the most productive. Those are the easiest plans to take over. That's the thing. But realize this is at the fourth dimensional level. And a lot of extraterrestrial beings like reptilians, they go to canine worlds and just hang out. And some of them do go there and get high and things like that because they're just tired of fighting. So, the reason we're bringing this up for you to connect with it is to relax. That's what this world has trouble in doing. Of course, not many of you can relax. There's no reason for it. Even some of you try to relax. You actually go on vacation to relax, and you do none of those things. There's no relaxation time. So as the world relaxes, you see more that is here. That will take time.